Yo, what is going on, guys? Got a brand new deck guide for you guys today. Today we're going to be going over a new, kind of an improved, we'll see, kind of Werewolf by Night Dormammu move, spells, Merlin deck for you guys. We're calling it Silence Mommy. I saw it on Untapped, and it is using the brand new Deafening Chord. This is how we actually did here with our live gameplay as well. This deck was a lot of fun. Of course, Dormammu, I think, is still in a really tough spot when it comes to regular ladder, but it was just interesting to see being able to use the spells in such a way to continue to get that werewolf value. I know people have been using something like this for previous seasons, and it felt good actually to play it around in this season. I'm not seeing as much Mercury right now, and people are still trying, I think, a bunch of different things. The meta's still wide open, but let's go ahead and jump right into it. This is going to be the deck on screen for you guys. It is the typical kind of Annihilus package with Werewolf by Night, but also including Debris in here with Merlin value and Dormammu value, as well as Carnage is one of those cards to be able to destroy cards for that Dormammu. You, of course, also have Nico Destroy Draw 2 for Dormammu value, and potentially just having the spells in hand for Werewolf by Night movements, because the first spell, even if you're not destroying anything, is a zero-cost spell, which does allow you to move your werewolf, because it is an on-reveal spell. So even if you're not destroying anything, that is potentially a free werewolf move. So maybe some foreshadowing for how Prowler and Werewolf are going to do well this next week, which you'll see by our bust on tomorrow's video. By the way, a little shout out to that. But this deck felt pretty fun. I think there's definitely some instances where I needed to be better when I was snapping and retreating. So there was some games where I was just kind of just like playing for content. I was like, well, it could do this, it could do this. And there's also scenarios that was like 50-50s, and then other times where I just literally just messed up. So that's just kind of like why the win rate is the way it is, and because Dormammu probably is not the best right now in the meta itself, even though there's not a lot of Stardust. It is just the scenario of Dormammu being as clunky as it is, opposed to most other things. So there's probably other different werewolf versions that might do better, but if you want to play Dormammu, this felt really good, with just being able to play Dormammu with Dormammu being as clunky. Like, saying really good for it being Dormammu is like my thought process there. But yeah, that's going to be the gist of the deck over there. You have the spells to be able to move Werewolf. A lot of these cards are on reveals. Deafening Chord is also a spell, which does not take up a board space. It is, afflict a card that is 3 or less cost with -1 power and remove its text. If they have Luke Cage on the board, you still will be able to remove that text of the card. I played this into a 50-50 situation you'll guys see in the first game against a Cerebro, and it legitimately won me the game because Deafening Chord just is like that, and I had a way to copy it too. So there's a lot of cool options there. Of course, you have Misery in order to get the hood out of the way, Iron Patriot out of the way. That's kind of like the main thing you're doing with Misery there. You're not really using Misery necessarily to destroy like any of your bigger powered cards, but you're usually using it to just enable you to get things off the board for either more board space, and also it is a good body and an on reveal. If you don't destroy anything, it's still an on reveal that goes off, and it's 8 power on the board to move Werewolf. So yeah, that's going to be the general gist of the deck right there. We're going to break down now why we have each card in this list individually. So starting out first and foremost, we are playing Annihilus. And Annihilus, Hood, and Sentry are kind of just the 3 cards that kind of just go together. So you have that there, and it's also an on reveal, which also moves your Werewolf, something you could destroy with Nico to draw cards, another card that you can once in future with Merlin have extra energy, and each time the on reveal goes off, it does give you a demon. So just a 1/6 seems pretty good to be able to play potentially on final turn into a lane maybe you're not going to be playing Werewolf into, or where Werewolf's not going to finish at the end of the game, to give you some extra power on that side of the board. And next, of course, we have Deafening Chord, which is, of course, the brand new Series 4 card that released yesterday, which is very solid in general. It's a tech piece, of course, but what this tech piece does is just really beneficial in general, because a lot of the main kind of like cards that do a lot of the enabling right now in the meta are more like 3 or less. So you have Deafening Chord to be able to hit those cards, which is very beneficial for you. If you want to have this, you got your Red Guardian, you have your Cosmic Ghost Rider, you have like a bunch of these cards at different costs now. You have your 1, 3, and 5 Affliction, remove text cards. Or not Affliction with Cosmic Ghost Rider, but remove text cards. Which is very interesting, all those odd numbers there. But it felt really good in this list, and just in general, it's going to be a good tech card going forward. Probably the best card of the season. It's nothing flashy, but it is a good card. Next, of course, we do have Nico Minoru, which is the Swiss Army knife of this deck, of course. The Nico gives you so many different options at that 1-cost slot with all the different on reveals. Of course, the Nico changing a card into a demon. If the card that has an on reveal then turns into a demon, the on reveal does not go off. meaning Werewolf does not jump. So just keep that in mind. If you are using that Nico spell, the Werewolf will not jump into the lane where the demon is transformed into, okay? But you have all these other different ×2 for Nico, adding power with Nico, changing locations, drawing 2 cards, moving a card to the right. A lot of just really great stuff you can do with Nico here, and it just works really well. Of course, you have Carnage in here. Carnage is one of those destroy cards to help with that Dormammu, or maybe you don't get the Annihilus. So you have Carnage to be able to destroy the Void and the Hood in order to clear up lanes for Werewolf. It isn't on reveal. And it works well in here instead of having like that Viper line kind of situation. You have Carnage in here for that, so you're leaning more into the destroy stuff, which is why you have Dormammu in here. If you were wanting to do more of just the Annihilus Clog stuff, you would probably run Viper instead. Next, of course, we have Iron Patriot. Iron Patriot is just an incredible card to have just like in the deck or just in general right now, because you're not trying to play fair in general and Snap at the moment. So Iron Patriot gives you that, what exactly did they get from Iron Patriot? Do I contest this lane with Iron Patriot? You know, you have that process. And honestly, a lot of people are playing Victoria hand right now, so you can play Iron Patriot into their Hood lanes, forcing them to have to maybe play or commit cards into that lane that they wouldn't want to otherwise, so you can get that Iron Patriot value. And you have bigger 3-cost cards like a Debris in order to kind of solidify that lane, which is also very nice there when it comes to using the Iron Patriot. And of course, create a card just that unknown for your opponent, and it isn't on reveal, and it's not a bad card to be able to Misery, to be able to get value later in the game as well. Next, of course, we do have Merlin. Merlin has all sorts of different spells, whether it is changing location and adding power to Merlin, or it is polymorphing another card and to get better value, whether it's polymorphing the Void, turning that into a 5-cost, polymorphing the Hood and turning it into a 2-cost, which more often than not will get you more value, or once in featuring either of those to have extra energy on the following turn. Of course, it works really well with Werewolf by Night. Werewolf by Night jumps wherever there was an on reveal and then gains the 2 power. So, of course, with spells, they don't take up the board space. So you can move your Werewolf around and not worry about the board space being taken up, which feels really solid into this as well, giving you all sorts of Werewolf value. Werewolf is just going to continue to get better and better and better as they continue to add more and more spells. Then, of course, we have Debris. Debris is a 3/7, so it's got a 3/7 stat line, and it gives you rocks on the board, which you can destroy with Carnage in order to get some of that Dormammu value. Even though you're not adding power to Dormammu, you get to that next spell, which is really nice. You, of course, then have Debris and on reveal 2, which can move your Werewolf. You can also use those rocks as things you can once in future, because there could potentially be the lowest powered card in that lane for you just to be able to swap away to be able to get extra energy in the following turn. And then, of course, you have Misery, like I said, for that Hood. Maybe sometimes for the Nico. Maybe even sometimes for like an Iron Patriot. It's another also just good on reveal body to be able to move your Werewolf with that 8 power point, 8 points of power, which also can just give you some just exceptional value there. So really liking the Misery for that. And then we have Sentry Annihilus, you get the Void on the board, and the Void is something Annihilus can send over, or it's something you could polymorph, something you can once in future to get value, and it's something you also can just play Dormammu's 3rd spell onto to summon Dormammu. You remove the Void and you add Dormammu there, which is also an unreveal, which could be good if you don't have the other lines. You have that there in order to get Dormammu on the board. Next, like I said, we are running Annihilus, so being able to send over the Demon, the Hood, being able to send over the Void, or cards in bad locations for you. Not bad. Or even the rocks on the board are another body for Dormammu's 2nd spell to be able to take power from, which makes them negative power, which then Annihilus can send over the negative powered cards, which you can use as kind of like a clog kind of function here with Annihilus, which is also pretty solid to use as like a line in this list. And like I said, we have the end all be all. We got Dormammu in here. The first spell costs 0. Be able to move Werewolf by Night with a 0-cost ability seems pretty good. And then, of course, the next skill cost 1. So then you have that as a 1-cost skill to move your Werewolf and be able to steal power from your opponents. You, of course, steal power from your own cards, but maybe you're setting up for the 3rd skill. So even if you're stealing power from your cards, you're just going to go ahead and throw Dormammu down anyways and use that power positively. So it's not a bad option there when it comes to using it in this list. And it is an on reveal to move your Werewolf, which we use that with actually to win a game. We actually do that in the video too, which you'll see here in a little bit. But yeah, that's going to be the general gist of the deck for you guys. If you guys have any questions about substitutions, just definitely feel free to ask down in the comments below. And if you guys do enjoy the video, definitely feel free to like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. And we're going to jump right into some live gameplay, and I'll see you guys at the end of the video. Alrighty. Into our first game over here. We do start with Merlin, Summoning Ritual, no Werewolf in hand, or Iron Patriot. But I do enjoy, actually, the start we have here. We do Tinkerer's Workshop. So there is a world where if we got Werewolf, we would play Werewolf first. We get Debris. I think we're just going to go Merlin. We're going to go Merlin middle. And then see what we can get going on, probably with the Debris. They go Lockjaw. I'm wondering if this is Cerebro 2 or if this is some a good old... Or if this is like Storm Legion things. Could be Storm Legion things. We're going to go Debris. It is Cerebro. Deafening Chord would be pretty awesome, actually, here. If I could get that... Oh, yeah, we actually don't get that. Okay, so I'm going to go Sentry Poly here, actually. Or let me go Sentry, and then I'll Once in Future. I could go... If I go... No, I think it's just Sentry. Let's go Sentry Poly here, actually. We're just not going to do the Dormammu line. That's going to be Bastion right there for the Cerebro stuff, I would assume. Ooh! Wait! That actually could throw everything off. Oh, they only get one Cerebro. Oh, that's huge. That is actually huge. I'm going to snap into Deafening Chord, into Nico Deafening Chord, Once in Future, Once in Future. Getting another Deafening Chord, potentially to hit Cerebro again. It's going to be a 50-50 in this situation, but I think it is worthwhile snapping here. Just because if I miss it the first time, I have a different likelihood to hit it again. So I think this is a kind of very interesting snap. And we are snapping into a 50-50, which maybe is not the most ideal. But they didn't play another card onto Cerebro, which is nice. And I hit the Cerebro! Oh, that's huge. That is genuinely huge. Yup. Banger. Banger. Okay, we do have Merlin. We got the Annie. We got some good stuff to work with. We do also start with Superflow. So we can start off with Merlin on turn 1. That seems pretty good to me. Merlin turn 1 seems pretty nice. Pretty nice. What is Zhao playing? Vic? Oh, if I get Deafening Chord, I would snap into... I mean, according to kind of would need priority, but I would snap into Deafening Chord hitting Vic. Okay, well, we're not going to have prio. Or nothing happens this turn. Sorry. I get Werewolf down. Okay. This is going to be interesting. Can I get a top deck Deafening Chord? We're literally fishing for a Deafening Chord here. Sanctum? Okay, well, that's just not happening then. And we do get Sentry. Wait, actually, I'm going to snap into Sentry Annihilus. Yeah. We are going to snap into Sentry Annihilus things. There's Wiccan. They don't have a way to offset that coming down on the right. So I win that lane. This will be boom, boom. Into this. Just to move Werewolf back middle. They Mirage, and they get my Annie. Which I should not have priority here either. So. And I also do not play Annie out on curve, by the way. Do not play Annie out on curve, knowing that they also have an Annie. Knowing that there. Wow, we get it again? Again is kind of crazy. Then we duck Prio again here. All right, so they're probably going to play Annie middle. So I could solely play Annie middle myself. So I'll do this, that. Annie comes middle. And then we should be good here. We move Werewolf left. We don't have Prio. I lose to an Eliath middle, more than likely. But I think we have so much else to mess around with. Knowing that they have Annie too, it is literally just playing 4 middle. So I'm not opposed to what we got going on here. They also have Negasonic in this list, and I think we still beat Negasonic. So that's why we snapped into this situation, and we made it so we did not play the Annie out. But they know we have Annie with the Mirage, because Mirage chooses character, targets it specifically, and Annie was the smallest cost character that we had in our hand. So not also allowing them to copy Vic stuff. Yeah, we were just in a really good spot. Really, really good spot. So we actually have a pretty interesting way to be able to contest this raft here. While having Summoning Ritual being a 0 cost on reveal, I can play into that lane and be able to move Werewolf off. I like us being able to potentially just fill out the raft here. Like, this seems pretty solid for us. We also have Nico to give us some good options here. Let's see what all we can go. Because I probably end up playing Debris here on the raft lane to have that solid power. If I were to guess, I think that's kind of like what we're doing there. We have Rocket Pad as well. I'm going to go... Let's go Nico copy into Debris. As long as this isn't destroyed, it should be pretty good. Okay. So it's Cerebro 3. Cerebro 3 is fine. So I will go... If I go Debris... Yes. Or I could go Deafening into Merlin. Deafening into Merlin also would be pretty good. Actually, hold on. Let me snap this, because we're going to get Raft card turn 3. Raft card turn 3 sounds pretty good to me. We get another Deafening. We get the Merlin. Yeah. Cool. That will work. All right. We are starting with Merlin and Sentry and Misery stuff in hand, which I actually don't hate this. If I lose Summoning Ritual, that's also not too bad. They have 12 cards in their deck. We got some Thanos shenanigans, I do believe, going on here. So I don't hate this starting point, like, at all. We have Merlin, Debris. I think the worst hit probably is Misery. But still is also 4-8 on the board. And I'm kind of just using it as another on reveal, so. Summoning Ritual comes down. Kalia comes down. Okay. That's fine. Cool Kalia. Cool Torch. I then just go Merlin. Go, hello. Merlin here. I'll go Merlin into probably like Debris or something. Herbie is on the board. We get New York. Ooh, that's very interesting for them. I will go probably Debris here. That's Nicholas Scratch. It hits. That's interesting. All right, so Clea is going to get hit with things now. So I will go Sentry, and then I'm full of spells, but I don't hate this. Go Sentry. They go Winds of Watum, which hits Merlin, which is a bit unfortunate. Into Flames of Faultine. Okay. That's still getting power. I will go Once in Future into... what do I want to do here? Once in the Future gives me the Void. And then I will go Omniversal, and then I have Deafening. Yeah, I think we do this. Once in the Future. Change that into... Oh, that's actually really rough for us. Okay, good. Because we change it away into Titan. They go Bolts. So Jim Hammond is going to get extra 3 power here. Extra 3 power on Jimmy. Yep. All right. So what I do here is they haven't played Temporal, so they could also just, if they have images, they go images here, they go to 14. They can play another card, they go to a 21. I kind of want to fully commit right into... This is essentially 14. They also could move all 3 over here and go to 21. I'm adding 19 to go to 23. I think it's this. They go images instead. It is 18. Oh, no, it's going to be 21 into Cosmic Ghost Rider, which is going to be just not enough. Just not enough. I had a hunch something like images was going to come out, so that was a good read. We get Airshim over here. Probably going to go... I want to get Merlin going with the Werewolf in hands, kind of my thought process. A Quicksilver on 1, of course. Of course. Iron Patriot just is a kind of a feels bad here right now. Okay, we do get Merlin now, which is actually very good for us. And they don't have another card to play on 1 or on 2, which is actually crazy. Okay. So I will go... I'm going to make them play for a variety of different lanes here. I know this does fill my hand, but that's okay. But that is all right. Now they have to contest 2. I do get Spider-Man Noir, which is very interesting. I have 6 power on the board. What's very interesting here as well is that this would, if I wanted to play into Spider-Man Noir, okay? If I wanted to play into Spider-Man Noir, this would allow me to do it. No, it wouldn't. It would not. We have 6. We would need to get to 8. It would have to be like this. I'm gonna go Werewolf into Poly though, just so they don't necessarily know what I have to compete with. Dawkin, which is kind of actually not good for us. The Enchantress, right? Okay, so we get the stature. Now get another. We go Omniversal. Okay, so I will go. This is funky. Let me do. We go Stature, Noir, Summoning, and I have still a lot of different power to mess around with. I haven't destroyed anything, but this is just giving me power across the board. It's kind of the thought process there. They go Eliath. Okay, that's fine. Cool, and we keep the power where we want it, and we have Dormammu. So I go Annie. Deafening. Because they lose a point of power here. They go to 7. I'm going to be at 7, and then I add another 2. I think I am competing mostly for right here. So I'm going to let them have that 7 power. That's fine. If they'll have to play here. They have to fight for all 3 lanes. Kind of my thought process here. So Annie moves that middle. Deafening moves it back left into Omniversal, moving squirrels down. Oh, this is crazy. Mockingbird, Mercury is not going to be enough. Sweet. Wow. What a turn of events there. Okay, we do have Iron Patriot into some Sentry things. This could be pretty fun. A pretty fun start for us. Attorney's range, so we do play Iron Patriot right. And I could potentially set up Attorney's range to be like a clog location too. Dracula. Oh, so this is really going to be... What exactly do I want? I have to kind of just calculate for a Vic here. And I'm playing around them playing Vic middle. Nico Quake. Okay, that's not Vic though. Not Vic. Good snap by them, but And then I have Sentry. So I actually don't hate what we got going on here. Because we'll go Sentry into some sort of probably something. They go Iron Patriot and Mirage gets my Demon. I will go... I go Deafening. I would go, here's what I do. I would go Werewolf, Summoning, Deafening. Deafening hits the Quinjet too, which is great. They go Vic Frigga. Okay. So if I go Dormammu is 13, which would move that over. Do that, or this is 12 plus Werewolf. They do have my Demon. Bring in Dormammu. Here's 13. Werewolf is 9. And then it would be here, which is 9 and 18. If they play a Demon here, it is 9. They play Demon Vic, right? Vic here is going to be 7. Plus the Demon is 18. Dormammu moves over, and then I do this, that. Shadow King, Hulk, Demon. Wow. That will also work. All right. Get Iron Patriots into Debris. We'll probably go Iron Patriot right, Debris right. And then have them have to get a rock is kind of my thought process there. Yeah. Iron Patriot right, Debris right. They Iron Patriot right as well. Okay. Infinity Ultron. Infinity Ultron of value, right? Value. I'll go Debris. Are they also going to run Debris right? I think it might probably be more like a Luna. Frigga. Okay. I go Debris. They're stuck with a rock. If I go Infinity Ultron, Carnage, and go Summoning, I do fill my hand. The hand do get full. The hand do get full. But I think we're going to do it. Okay. They go Hood, Iron Patriot, Misery probably. They're gonna go Misery middle. I go Deafening Chord. I go Deafening Chord, Sentry. Oh, actually no. I could, if I could snap this into Sentry Summoning. Yeah. We probably could have snapped it earlier to what we had going on, but yeah, that's pretty cool. We had a pretty cool line set up. We could copy Merlin, but I don't want to have too many spells and like completely obliterate our hands. Kind of my thought process there. Annie being a 6 cost is rough, but if I can get Merlin once in future, that's not worst case scenario. We also could do, if we do this, we draw 2 cards. I can start summoning things too. This completely clogs our hand, though. I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it. It's worth clogging our hand to be able to have some of these other options. Get Debris, and we get Misery. There you go, Sparky. I go Merlin. I'm gonna go Merlin Summoning. Spider Punk. DORMAMMU loses power, but we're gonna probably just play left anyways. Merlin also is gonna probably fill. We get Polymorph. Okay. I will go Debris Summoning. Okay, so we get the extra there. Into Cosmo. Wow. Cosmo coming down is not very nice. There's the Hellion. No other move cards, though. I don't hate this for us. Oh, my. Oh, my word. I have so many. Could go Werewolf. I mean, I'd probably end with Werewolf back on the left there, is my thought process. I'll go Werewolf. Demon Deafening. No, Demon Polymorph. Oh, how am I finishing this is my thought process. Okay. So Jug's going somewhere, right? But I can fill every lane so Jug doesn't move anything. Jug doesn't move anything, right? So Werewolf's going to end up far left. So I go Werewolf, then I go Demon Poly. Omniversal Deafening. Yeah, let's do it. Let's have some fun here. Okay. They Jug, doesn't move anything. Aha! Aha! I go Werewolf. Demon, Poly, doesn't change anything there. Moves Werewolf over into Omniversal, giving me Sakaar. Oh my god, wait, that actually could be horrible for me. Into Deafening, which hits the dagger and moves Werewolf back over. And then Annie comes down and Madam Web, and we cook! Let's go! Huge! We knew the jug was coming and we played around the jug. Let's go. And we had to have, or we could have swapped Polly. I guess Polly technically could have gone left. But that worked well. You guys so much for watching the video. If you guys did stick around the very end, let me know down below. What have you guys been playing Deafening Chord with? I know we all maybe overhyped this card, but I think it's incredibly good. So we say it's the best card. It's not like game shaking, gonna break the game. I mean, it's gonna change the game and affect some of these meta decks. But it's not like, oh, it's super flashy kind of thing. It's really just targeted and it's specific. It's a good tech card. That's the gist of it. It's just gonna be a good deck card. So just kind of like that's what we're saying when we're saying like this card's gonna be just incredibly good and best card of the season. But let me know down below. What do you guys think? Of course, it's only been a bit since the OTA. What do you guys think about the OTA? Which another maybe mid OTA. But I do want to say thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you guys did stick around the very end, let me know down below. What are you guys playing, like I was saying? And yeah, definitely feel free to like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. It's been real. God bless, and Tucker out.